Good evening, good evening. This is Lady Estelle and the Street Soldier Crew, and we are back for another Sunday evening with you. Your host this evening is glad to see that we are still here. We are still alive and free. Who is your host? Dr. Joseph E. Marshall Jr.
I would be moi. Thank you, Lady E. Good evening, everyone. Happy day before the birthday of the one and only Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., born January 15th, 1929. But we celebrate his birthday on the third Monday of January every year. So it's easy. You know what tonight's show was going to be about. The remarkable, the boy, this man, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. And let me just say, boy, do we need him now. Let me start with that. There's a group I love called Take Six, and they got a song, If We Ever Need Him, Lord, before. You know we need him now. Well, I'm going to say that about Dr. King. We ever needed him before, we definitely need him now. And we will get into our questions for you. And you know, we got some good. We really want to go into depth about the wonderful man. What a man, what a man, what a mighty good man, to paraphrase Salt and Pepper. Right? That's what I call him. What a man, what a man, what a mighty good man. So let's say good evening to the crew. Lady E, hello.
Good evening, good evening.
And hello.
Hello, everyone.
And I called him last week. I'm gonna do it again, Sir Michael.
Hello.
Hello. All right, let's get the NFL playoffs out the way. All right, nine is done. You know what can I say? Seattle just whooped us and whooped us and then whooped us some more. So you got to give it to them. You know, they beat us up pretty bad the last two times. So it ain't like it was just like can't call yesterday a fluke, but the season they gave us, as far as I'm concerned, was second to none to overcome what they had to deal with and get to where they got to. They got on, but nothing but love for you, brother. Nothing but love. And it's going to be Seattle versus the Rams. People have seen that before. I think it's the third time. I think they split. Did they split in the season, Mike?
I think so.
I think so. And then the New England Patriots, without Tom Brady, are coming back to the AFC Championship against Denver. Amazing. The Denver Broncos, who will be without their quarterback, Bo Nix. And that is our NFL playoff report for you. That's it. Got a favorite, Mike, or you don't care no more?
I don't care.
All right, I understand. I understand. I understand. I understand. You know, Lady E, KC's out.
Yeah, it don't matter.
You know,
Casey's been out.
I know. Yeah. And I gotta say, I'm a big Caleb Williams fan, so I was pulling for if the Niners weren't gonna be there. You know, I love Caleb. So what a throw we had today. But in the end, it's getting to the finish line, and we got four vying for Super Bowl at Levi Stadium right here in Santa Clara, California. And Mike is going to sneak in. He already said he's sneaking into the Super Bowl.
Definitely gonna sneak
Right,
in.
right. We got a plan.
Mhm.
We got about a month to come up with a plan to sneak you in.
About 3 weeks.
Okay, we'll come up with something.
Figure it out. Somebody's listening. We ain't gonna let them sneak in. We're gonna put them in sick.
No, if we can do it with them listening, that's even better. I got an idea, but if you get caught, I don't know you.
I'm not a snitch. Don't trip.
Well, you better tell on me quick. Dr. Marshall, he the one that came up.
Nah, we ain't gonna.
All right, it is, as I say, Martin Luther King's birthday tomorrow. You know, just look. Oh, okay. Look, let me get the news in quickly. Hey, what's up, Soul? Let me get you in before we jump in the news. How you doing, my brother? We just did the NFL update. What you got to say? And you can unmute first so the folks can hear you.
It was an exciting day for football, exciting weekend for football.
Yes, sir.
Sorry, Niners fans. But I know I ain't gonna say nothing to Mike. Never mind. Let me just leave that alone.
Yeah.
But at least we're gonna have the Super Bowl in the Bay. you know.
That's even worse.
Yeah. And Mike is announced he's sneaking in. Okay.
Yeah, it was a tough weekend, especially coming off the high of last week.
Hey, yeah, that's how it goes.
Yeah, that's
You're
how,
right about
you
that.
gotta
That's
be,
how
you
it
gotta
goes.
be ready for that.
You got to be able
As
to
a true fan,
handle
yeah,
something.
you gotta be able to take the
With
good
anything.
and the bad.
Life is like
I
that.
mean, especially with the team they had. I mean, I was expecting anything to happen.
Hey, man, you got to be able to handle
Hey,
it.
only one team wins. That's how, you know, that's what it is. So,
Even worse if you would have had all your horses and you would have
Oh.
lost like that.
Oh, yeah, this is,
You would have even.
it shouldn't have
mad.
been there. You know,
Yeah, exactly. So
Yeah. But the lesson is you got to handle the highs and the lows
yes,
in sports and in life, period. You know,
Mhm.
you got to handle them both. If not, then you will be crushed. You know, don't get too high when you win. Don't get too low when you lose, you know, because it's going to be that way. All right.
you said get high. What you say?
No, I said don't
Oh.
get too
Oh,
high.
got you. My bad. My bad.
You,
I heard something.
I bet you did.
he said too high. That's a Stevie Wonder song, Mike. Look that one up.
Yeah, well, you know, you
Yeah.
see where his mind is, lady, when I said too high. You see that? That's why you need to be here sometimes and just get him right. Just reach across and grab him.
Give him the look.
Give
Give
him
him a look.
No, sometimes he just need to be grabbed, you know, like,
Yeah,
yeah, like, what are you saying? That's what you tell the kids in the class. What are you saying?
I think I've got a big hug for Sir Mike.
Oh, Sir Mike. Funny.
All right, little news. And there is a commemorative stamp out for the one and only Muhammad Ali.
That's right.
Muhammad Ali Forever Stamp,
That's
which
cool.
is, and I like the way you put this, Soul, the ultimate reversal of the government's view of him. All right. Postal officials unveiled a commemorative stamp of boxing legend Muhammad Ali. All right, featuring a photo of the champ in his fighting prep. And you know, I got these hoodies, and you know, I got hoodies,
And it was his birthday.
and I got more
Yes.
Ali hoodies. Yeah, Ali and Jackie Robinson, because those are my sports heroes, right? Okay.
That is
The
cool.
Postal Service printed 22 million of the Ali stamps, which feature an Associated Press photo from '74 showing the fighter holding up his gloves in the fighting stance. His last name is bold, black, and red all cap lettering. All right. The stamp amounts to a full circle moment for a man once rejected by the U.S. government after he refused military induction during the Vietnam War, a decision that cost Ali his heavyweight title, leading to a boxing suspension and threatened him with prison time. That's all true. He mesmerized the world. Well, anyway, you want to look, I want a stamp. So like,
Okay.
can you like, they give a limit of stamps or something like that? You can just go like get
You
it.
can order them online when you can't get them at the post office. Yep. The one that sold out. SpongeBob.
Doc, read the quote at the end of that story from CBS News. By the way, what did he say years ago?
In his boxing days, Ali once quipped that he should be on a postage stamp. He says that's the only way I'll ever get licked.
He shall receive.
Wow.
Oh,
Funny.
yeah, that's Muhammad. That is Muhammad. That is Muhammad. That is Muhammad. And I think those of you who are faithful have heard me say, I actually met Muhammad Ali, and he was everything
That's amazing.
that has been said about him and more.
Wow.
That story don't even make sense to me though, Doc. How can that one time the government hates you, and then fast forward they're honoring you? Like, what does that mean?
That means you was right all along.
Exactly.
That
Exactly.
you took a stand.
Yeah.
You took a stand that was supposed to be taken, and you know they came to you. You didn't go to them. They came to you. Absolutely. And you know Ali and bearing the Olympic torch. You know, yeah, he's wow. Yeah. All right. Thank you, sir. One more story, and this is the opposite. We talked last week about the 11-year-old young girl who was shot in Antioch.
Mm.
And the man who the accused one who was accused of shooting and has turned himself in. The man accused of shooting an 11-year-old girl at Antioch made his first court appearance and his family is speaking out for the first time. All right. The girl is her family. Let's see. She suffered a gunshot to the head, and I guess the family apologized to the family of the girl that got shot. We're sorry. We're hoping for a speedy recovery. Hopefully, she gets well soon. The accused is facing 5 counts of attempted murder, 1 count of firing at a dwelling, and 1 count of firing in an occupied car. Investigators say he opened fire on an Antioch family's SUV as they headed to the grocery store, calling a case of, I hate to say these words, mistaken identity. All right. The girl's family says dad said it's changed their lives. The 7th grader still has a bullet lodged in her head. And while she initially went blind, she's now regaining her eyesight. Oh, praise the Lord. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. But I think you said, so the family is getting the hell out of Antioch. Is that correct?
Well, yeah, that's what was reported last week. They were either had left or was leaving. I can't even begin to imagine what they're going through. You said the 11-year-old girl has a bullet in her head.
Yeah.
At this moment, I mean, it's hard to even say a sentence like that. I know she had lost her vision. They're saying that she's starting to regain that now. Regardless, seems like a long road ahead for her and her family. But we'll continue to be thinking about her and praying for her.
Shooting in the Ock. Shooting in the Ock. A case of mistaken. Man, what you shooting for? But that's a whole. That's why we do the show. All right. All right. That's horrible. All right. Okay. Let's get to tonight's show, which is about the one and only Martin Luther King Jr. And we're gonna just begin. Just quick. We're in the studio. Say Martin Luther King, Lady E. Say Martin Luther King, Soul. Say Martin Luther King, and say Martin Luther King. Mike, what do you say? What pops up? What comes up to you as soon as you say his name?
The greatest American.
I like that. I like that. Lady E.
Amazing hero.
All right. Yeah.
I don't know. I guess I have like visions where I just see, right? Like all of those people out in Washington, D.C., right? The Million Man March.
Yeah.
So he brought
the March on Washington.
The March on Washington.
Yeah. So he brought all kinds of people together. Like he was the one who was able to stand up, be the voice to so many.
Yeah. Mike or Fillmore, whichever you prefer.
Martin Luther King. Probably peace. Trailblazer. Yeah.
I'll just say for me, what a man. I said before, what a man, what a mighty good man, but an ordinary man who did remarkable things, who answered the call.
Yeah.
And a man, I mean, there's a old movie called A Man for All Seasons, which nobody knows but me, because I'm the only old one in here. But he's a man for forever.
Yeah.
He's a man for forever. And we will always need Martin Luther King. And like I said earlier, we really need him now. So, Lady E, and, we spend really, really quality time with the young people we talk to about Dr. Martin Luther King, who he was, what he did, his legacy, what he means to us, what he means not only to them, but to this country and the world. And Lady, they only know pretty much the sound bite. Free at last, thank God Almighty, we're free at last. Or, one day our 4 little children, blah, blah, blah. We spent a lot of in-depth time on him, showing the complete man that he was and the complete work that he did. Lady E, you want to make a couple of comments on the time that we spend with our young people on Martin Luther King?
So we meet once a week, and for the last week and for the next 2 weeks, we are going to be on Tuesday nights. for about an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours. We're going to be listening and learning about his life, his journey, things he was exposed to, the things he exposed and revealed to mankind, not just the United States, but to the world, the impact the world had on him, and then he in turn turned on some lights for us. So yeah.
We'll actually watch a film called Citizen King.
Yes.
And I've seen the film, I don't know how many times, and it's one of those things, as soon as you hear his voice
Yeah.
and watch him, I think he's the greatest combination of speaker doer ever. I mean, Frederick Douglass was a doer, but it is written that he was a great speaker, but we never could obviously hear him speak. But King, I mean, his speeches, every time I hear his voice, something runs through me. It just gives me just, you know, but then he was out there on the front lines. I mean, he was, and people at that time, you know, the government tracked him, and J. Edgar Hoover was after him, and they hated him and called him all these names and so on and so forth, and yeah. So, yeah, we're gonna ask a good friend. So, like, you're gonna like hearing this. A good friend of the show, a good friend of ours, wrote an article in Newsweek. And so this is sent to me by Kevin Powell, you know, Grammy nominated poet, humanitarian, author of 17 books, filmmaker who has actually been on the show. I would call him a, you know, social activist. He wrote a piece called "What Would Dr. King Say Now?" What would he say about what is going on now? And that's the question we're going to pose to you, our listeners today. What would he say about what is going on now? I'm gonna give you a little bit of what Kevin Powell said in the article. And he actually texted me and didn't know I was gonna actually use the article. And he said, "Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you." So here's a little bit, and this was hope set the tone for our callers to call in and about the one and only remarkable Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. He said for years he had dodged questions about Dr. King and what others who are long gone would say about any chapter of America, because we simply don't know. However, I have absorbed so much Dr. King, his speeches and sermons, his essays and writings and endless books, that I want to tackle this question. And he says, I think I use the same phrase, he was a very human being who did and dreamed extraordinary things. All right. And then he said, because I am clear, I am a blessed beneficiary due to Dr. King and other game changers like Ella Baker, Family Lou Hamer, Bayard Rustin, Malcolm X, Rosa Parks, and countless others from the civil rights movement. Okay. An energy that transformed America and American democracy. So some thought, let's come back to that, for the better and the betterness of us all. All right. And then he thinks about his own family. I especially think of this when I consider my single mother, a poor black woman from South Carolina, had her education cut short because of the gruesome racism, sexism, and classism she endured during a product of segregated America. I think of how I, her only child, became a first generation college student. All right. Because my congressman, a young white moderate male in Republican congressman and a state's assemblyman, championed legislation in my home state of New Jersey, the Educational Opportunity Fund, EOP, I know it did, opportunity, which was sent thousands of poor kids to college like me. Right? Tom King saw what was happening in America. He goes on and he says, I'm moving on. It was the empathy, compassion, and love that propelled Dr. King, even in the face of boiling hate, hovering violence, and deafening opposition. I know that America has evolved because of the civil rights movement. And I wonder what the country would have been if that period had never existed. But not in my gloomiest nightmares did I think I would be present in a place where the sheer cruelty my mother experienced in the 1940s and 1950s and 1960s would become my reality in this century. All right. And then he says the small-minded reduces to a party thing: Democrats versus Republicans, liberals or progressives, and conservatives versus MAGA. He said, no, it is more profound than that. What we're talking about is what Dr. King spoke of frequently in the last days of his life, the very soul of America. What are we as a society, and what do we actually want to be? Or do we care? And are thus willing to rip each other apart over ideologies, over identities. I like the fact that he has taken these words out of it that, I don't like those words. He's talking about human dignity and human life. All right. And he gives, comparisons to the murder of George Floyd with the murder of Emmett Till. He gives comparisons to the murder of Renee Nicole Good with the slaying of the 3 civil rights workers in Mississippi: James Chaney, Andrew Goodman, and Michael Schwer. And he says, Dr. King and others sacrificed their blood to make America better. It is hypocritical to be mad, blunt, to celebrate Dr. King this year or any other year and not acknowledge how far backward he says we are racing, and not to own that democracy is not democracy at all until all have chance and full life possibilities. All right, let me stop. You see where he is. Dr. King said in his last night, is it going to be chaos or community? He says, I choose community, I choose love. That's his answer to the question of what would Dr. King say about what's going on now. So I'm going to ask you that, street soldiers. I'm going to ask you that, and we're going to take you as in depth as we can in the time we have here in this hour about Martin Luther King Jr. We want to hear from you at 877-955-1061. 877-955. What do you think Dr. King would say about what's going on now? And to sweeten the pot, as we always do, because we think it's so important to learn as much as we can about Dr. King, and has a giveaway for you. We did this last year. We did this last year because, we celebrated. We want you to have a Dr. King life, Dr. King perspective. So we got something for you. If you call in and tell us what do you think Dr. King would say now about what is going on, 877-955-1061. Take this giveaway. Let me just say, Dr. King wrote several books. Where do I have my pages? And I can never find the stuff I want to find.
I'm so excited about this giveaway, Dr. Marshall,
Okay.
because
Well, yeah.
you had us read an article or a piece from this book, and it blew me away. I just the depth and just how relative, or like how what he says is still relevant today, how it still applies. It just showed his genius, his compassion. So I'm really excited
Wisdom.
to share this book with everyone.
He wrote several books. Why can't we wait? Where do we go from here? Chaos, Our Community, A Testament of Hope, Stride Toward Freedom, The Montgomery Story, and the book we're going to give you tonight, Strength to Love. Strength to Love. You are on. Thank you for giving us a call, street soldiers. Happy Martin Luther King Day tomorrow. And what do you think Dr. King would say about what is going on right now?
He probably turned over in his grave while he alive, if he was alive.
Yeah.
Everything is going backwards.
Yeah, that's the word. Yeah.
It's all going backwards.
Yeah, that's tough, isn't it? To climb the mountaintop and then slide back down. It's tough. Yeah.
Right. But I think as long as we still have breath and air to breathe, and we're still alive, we have a chance to turn it around.
Absolutely.
Once we get this devil out of office.
Say what you want to say, baby. Tonight his gloves are off.
We're on a radio station. Once we get this devil out of office, maybe we can accomplish what we have. We can put back in place what was already accomplished for minorities, not just black folks, people of color in general.
Yeah. Say your name, where you come from. We're going to get you a book. Thank you for your spirit. That is the spirit of Dr. King. That's the we shall overcome and overcome again. You know, tell everybody your name. Mm-hmm.
And Pittsburgh, California, from the Northern California.
We're gonna get you a book. You're gonna like the book. Really, want to thank you for just be king. Find the king in you. That's what I'm gonna challenge my folks tonight. Find the king in you. All right. Thank you, hon. Okay, thank you. 877-955-1061. Give us a call. Give us a call. And got the first book you're giving away, and don't you love it? 877-955-1061. Dr. King talked about the beloved community, the beloved community. I don't think ain't much love going around right now at all. All right, we got another call. You're on Street Soldiers. Go right ahead. Say what your name is, where you're calling from, and what do you think Dr. Martin Luther King would say about what's going on right now in the country and in the world. You there?
Hi, this
Hi.
is Faith.
No, go ahead.
This is Faith Ziegler
Thank
from Oakland, California.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm doing very well, thank you. Good to talk to you, Dr. Joe.
It's good to hear from you, dear. Good to hear from you. What your thoughts on what you think Dr. King would say about what's going on?
Well, you know, I've been thinking a lot about Dr. King because I was just in Minnesota, and it is a hotbed there.
Oh my God!
And we were out protesting ICE after the Renee Good killing.
Yeah.
And my sister and my nieces are very involved and are doing the training for observing the ICE proceedings. And it is so many people. I mean, it's so many people are out protesting and are committed to protesting the ICE takeover of Minneapolis. It's really, they're going door to door. They're just pulling people out of their houses without due process. They don't have a warrant there. I mean, it's a tinderbox. And I just felt that I saw the protesters so angry, and the things that they are saying to the ICE agents are not nice either. And I just felt like we need Martin Luther King here now to lead us and to show us how to do a peaceful, nonviolent, but resistance against what is happening in our government today.
Yeah.
That was, the strongest feeling that we need some leadership. And he was the one. I don't know. We don't have somebody like that today, but that is what we need to help us, save our democracy.
What we do have is his moral conscience, right? And there is no moral conscience as far as I'm concerned. And to all of this is, it's not even about people; it's about power, right? And we don't have him. His body here, but we have his spirit here. We have his example here. We have his inspiration here. And I think we have to draw on that moving forward. And you know what? I tell this to people we say this a lot about, and we know somebody who knows Dr. King, but he talks to Dr. King, he might have been afraid, but he was fearless. He was fearless. Yeah. And this whole thing is designed to make you afraid to say what is your right to say, right? So I'm glad those people out there.
It is right to say, but then you don't need to necessarily aggravate the people that you are protesting against.
Yeah.
And I just feel like it would be more effective, and it would be less violent, and there would be less people injured and killed, because I'm very worried that the situation is going to escalate in that area.
Well, it escalated at that time in the 60s. Let's say the fire.
It sure did. Already. Yeah.
The problem is, at that time, the federal government stepped in to rescue. This federal government is the problem.
Yeah.
but you gotta, and your firsthand account of what's going on there is really nice to hear. Thank you, hon. We got the book for you. I love you. I love you. Love your family. Thank you, Faith Ziegler. All right. Hi, you're on Street Soldiers. Say where you're calling from, what your name is, and what do you think Martin Luther King would say about what is going on now in this country and in the world?
Good evening. Good evening. This is Joanna Hernandez calling
Joanna.
from the Bay Area. Hi, Dr. King. I'm
You the bomb, baby girl. You the bomb.
Thank you. Thank you. Just this whole topic just, really resonates with me and the work that we're doing every day. But,
Yeah.
I try every day when I walk into those jails to teach the women the key to staying alive and free. But it's so hard
Yeah.
to be peaceful when all you see is violence around you.
Yeah.
And the hate in their eyes and
Yeah.
what's happening in Minnesota, what's happening in our community, and just and it hits home. It hits home. My family, personally, my family's afraid to travel because they're afraid that they might not be let back into this country.
Yeah.
And just the way people are doing things violently. We just ended our class because we're getting ready for graduation, but every woman got to read a quote of Dr. King and how it resonated with them. And everything that was read by each woman in the words of Dr. King, they said that those are the steps that they want to lead when they get out of those facilities.
Praise.
And so I really hope that people, taking the steps of doing things the nonviolent way. But I know it takes a lot of courage and it takes a lot of strength and a lot of, patience. But it's hard. It's hard, Dr. Marshall. It's hard.
Absolutely.
to not be angry. and hurt
You
somebody.
can be angry. Yeah, angry.
Yeah.
With Dr. King was angry.
Yeah.
And but that's why it's so remarkable what he did. I mean, he
Yeah.
he's and he got other people to do it. Yes, Joe, this is funny, right?
Yeah.
We were watching the young people and I and Mr. Stella, we were all and we're watching the video of Citizen King, and it showed the young people being pulled out of high school to march along
Mm.
with Dr. King, right? And I'm thinking, and they had to do what he said. So if you got hit, you got spit on, you got whatever, you couldn't fight back. And I'm saying, I don't know if I could have done that. I'm saying,
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's just remarkable. Not only what he did, but he got his followers to do, knowing that they were going to be attacked and go to jail. But let me say, the work you're doing,
Yeah.
that's Dr. King's work.
Oh, thank you, Dr. Marshall.
I ain't playing, girl.
I miss you guys.
The world you're doing is Dr. King's work. So believe me.
Well, I learned the work from you all, and thank you for teaching and keep teaching us and having this space on Sunday nights to have real conversations that people are scared to have. So you give us that platform to do that. So thank you, and I can't wait to see you guys on the 23rd, and we're going to continue to help people do the nonviolent way, and try to get them to march with us when they get out of those facilities.
The more
and preach the live and free way.
You got it, hon. Thank you for calling. We'll see you hopefully at the graduation one more time. All right. 877-955-1061. You're on. Where you calling from? What's your name? And give me an answer to that question. What would Dr. King think about what's going on today? Hello? Hello, you're on. What's up, Rich? What you got for us? Mm-hmm. Mm. Mm. Mm.
Battle between, Armageddon and Gog and Magog, and he's going to get violent on a strange, paradoxical way, reverse to his stance on peace.
I could see why you would say that. One of his quotes, and he meant so many wonderful things, was, "We must learn to live together as brothers or perish together as fools." That's one of his quotes. Live together as brothers or perish together as fools. So, yeah. All right. Rich, is he gone? Is he back? Is that?
He's there.
You still there, Rich?
I'm here. I'm
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, man.
I don't think I don't think it's going in well. That's all. I
Where
I
you
know.
going?
I mean, we humans, we're animals.
Right.
We humans, you know, we got some. We're we're half divine and half beast. You know, if, according to the Bible.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, like, how are we gonna get that? How are we gonna separate the monsters that we have in us? You know, the DNA in us and whatever the heck affects us. You know, how are we gonna separate that?
Yeah, that's a paradox. It's a hard question. I don't have the answer to that. I know that.
Estelle, Lady Estelle, where you at?
I'm right here. That's a great question. But that's like, are we ready for that? Are we ready for that answer? But to ask that question is the beginning. And that's step number one, to ask the question. Number two is to be willing for the response. Be willing to hear the response. And then when you hear the response, what are you going to do with that? Because if it is within you, that is the number one issue that you're questioning, then you are the one that's got to deal with that. And that's something that, or let me ask the question, is that something that we as a people are willing to see, accept, and then address? But you have just hit on something that is long overdue. Oh my goodness, we've been waiting to hear that question. But now, are you ready for the next step?
All right.
Bring it on, bring it on. Bring it on.
Well, you gave everybody something to think about. You asked Lady E, you asked the ultimate one.
I don't know about that, but I'm just saying
that was to me. That's what you just seen my when they say come to you.
That's the question.
That's the question. Yeah.
That's the question. 877-955-1061. Give us a call. We got a gift for you if you answer the question for us. What do you think Martin Luther King would say about what is going on today in the country and in the world? A number of different quotes, and that I like, because most people, like I said, most people just know I have a dream that one day, right? I have 4 little children, all right? But so many things. There's a short one. We may have all come on different ships, but we're in the same boat now. If a man has discovered something and he will die for, it has not discovered something he will die for, he isn't fit to live. Martin Luther King. Martin Luther King. Martin Luther King. Probably a favorite of those that have read Dr. King a lot. The ultimate measure of a man is not where he stands in moment of comfort and convenience, but where he stands at times of challenge and controversy. Nothing worthwhile is easy. Your ability to overcome unfavorable situations will provide you with time to demonstrate your true strength and determination for success. Always set your standards high. Your greatest achievements lie within the infinite feats you achieve in your life. Only Dr. Martin Luther King would say something like that. Hi, you're on Street Soldiers. Thanks for calling us. What's your name? Where you calling from? And yeah, we trying to find out what would Martin Luther King say about what's going on today.
My name is Mark Kennedy. I'm from Vallejo, California.
Thank you, Mark.
Grew up in the Bay since a long time.
Got you.
Anyway, he used to say the concept of your character, not the color of your skin.
Yeah.
And so we see a lot of stuff going on out here, and our rights are being taken by Trump, and the ICE is taking Latinos without due process.
That's right.
So he went through a phase of taking our rights away first, and then he started acting on the due process. And I think he's doing it as a revenge, because when he was trying to build that wall a long time ago, and then after he lost the voting thing with the last vote and stuff, it's like pretty much like he's trying to get his revenge on society for not voting for him the last time. You know what I mean?
Oh, well, I think anybody that knows and studies this, he's trying to get revenge on anybody that opposes him in any way.
Yeah. So he's copying. So we have this thing called German influence, and so when Hitler was trying to get rid of all the so-called undesirables back in the Olympic days, I can't quote the year, but it was during the Olympics where he was getting rid of all the desirables, meaning poor people, people that was born lame, people were that wasn't even Jewish. He was getting rid of them too and sending them off to camps and all that, just to make the Olympics look good when other people come into the country. So now you see that's what's happening out here in Oakland, San Francisco, and Vallejo, and other cities around. You see a homeless pandemic after COVID-19, where a lot of people were being executed by a biological warfare. So we're going through biological warfare, spiritual warfare, and financial warfare. And he is just a mask to all this because it's a secret society that's controlling him to do that. Just like when rappers rap for fame and all that, but they're getting what they call controlled by what's that, the Illuminati and all that.
Yeah, brother, you got a whole you got a whole set of thoughts behind all that's going on. Yeah.
So I was locked up in San Quentin during the COVID-19, and I saw how that went down.
Wow.
So then you start seeing how the governor said no movement, but yet the prisons are still moving people, and that's how San Quentin caught COVID-19, because they moved everybody from Quentin. But the thing about it is, if you look at it, this is the aftermath of COVID-19. That was population control. Trump is doing nothing but population control in another form. He's using all the elements to create the population control to make a new status quo.
So let me just say this, only because we got a lot of callers who are trying to get in. I think you trust you that based on your first quote about Dr. King, he would not be happy about any of this. I think that's what I hear you saying. All right. And we're going to get you this book. I hope you like it. Strength to Love, Dr. Martin Luther King. You're on Street Soldiers, 877-955-1061. Or if you call, you can be on Street Soldiers, 877. We got a line open, 955-1061. We're celebrating the birthday of Martin Luther King, and we are asking you, what would he say about what is going on today in the country and in the world? And you want to say something?
I guess because it makes me think of what you said, and because there is a lot going on in the world, and it seems like, just like, I don't know, it's heavy, it's deep. You're like, what do I do? And you said we've gone through this before.
Oh yeah.
You know? And we've gotten through this before. So that just, and I don't know, that just gave me hope, right? It gave me just have faith, right? Have faith in.
The good thing about studying the civil rights movement or the abolitionist movement, is those people weren't afraid.
Yeah.
They weren't afraid. And this is designed to make you afraid. You got a blueprint.
Yep.
You have a blueprint. And they, those people like I said, Dr. King and his followers and the whole civil rights movement and the abolition, they knew they were risking their lives. Now, I'm going to tell you what makes me mad is these Congress people who sit there and do nothing. I'm afraid. I'm scared. I might lose my job. I know I'm making a funny voice. What are you scared of? Look, those people were on the front lines.
Yeah.
They marched. I don't think half those people would have marched at all if they so worried about he's going to primary me. Okay. Dr. King wasn't thinking about that. All right. I'm sorry. You're on Street Soldiers. Go right ahead. Say your name, where you're calling from.
The phone hung up on me.
We got
Martin Luther King.
We got some. Hold on. We got to take some more callers. Okay. So we're going to let you go only because we had your call before and we got your book. So thank you very, very much. 877-955-1061. Let's get some more in while we can. If we got one, let me know. 877-955-1061. What would Dr. Martin Luther King say about what is going on today? And I just want to go back to that. When I hear people who are charged with doing something,
Yeah.
right? Our lawmakers, right? And they tell me they're scared. What are you scared of? I mean, seriously, haven't you watched the civil rights movement?
Yeah.
Haven't you watched Eyes on the Prize? Haven't you watched Freedom Riders? I think they ought to send all those people a documentary and make them sit down and watch, because you're worried about he gonna talk about me, and I'm scared for they just disgust me. I'm seriously, in that sense, they disgust me because you can call me and jump on me about that, folks. 877-955-1061. You're on Street Soldiers. Happy Martin Luther King Jr.'s birthday, and what do you think he would say about what is going on today? Go right ahead. You're on. You're on. You were on.
Once.
Going once. You better say something quick before you're gonna miss out the book. I would have said something just to be in the book. 877-955-1061. Do you have a favorite Dr. King quote and that you can think of that you want to share? I got so many. Let me give you this one. The richer we have become materially, the poorer we become morally and spiritually. We have learned to fly in the air like birds and swim in the sea like fish. We have not learned the simple art of living together as brothers. That might say everything about Dr. King. Hi, you're on. Go right ahead. Where you calling from? What's your name?
Hazel, and I'm calling from California, San
Okay.
Francisco.
Yes, ma'am. What you think? What would Dr. King say about what's going on today?
Well, first of all, I think he would be supported. But what's going on is what's starting in the White House.
Yeah.
It all begins on our politicians.
Yeah.
Our president's not really trying to lead the country the way he needs to go. He's look like he's going to want to come back. But he promised, but he broke a promise. But the point is, just like I heard the young man say, he's kind of retaliating against the peoples of the nation, the people of the world, where he want to come in and take these different states, politicians. He want to take over their country. He want to involve these other states and other countries like China, Russia, Ukraine, and all these other people. He want to take over. He want to take over the land, and then he's not taking care of the people. So what Martin Luther King was saying, that like people in Michigan is doing, is protesting in San Francisco and all over the Bay Area and all over the world, is that Trump is not really leading the people and treating the people right like he said when he got in office. It's okay to make America great again, but how great is you making America when you seeing all these things on TV that you're doing to the people of America?
So I got
Not
a question.
just America. You've been an example to other countries to treat their people when they see America is really having a problem. So you really kind of setting yourself up to be on a pedestal. And I'm like, get off the pedestal, what you need to do, and take care of America. And that is something he's not doing.
Thank
And
you.
a lot of politicians that's in office is not trying to be and stand up for the people as well. They're looking for their own head, their own skin, their own paycheck, their own family. But people make the world go round.
All right. Stylistics. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. We're going to get you a book. Okay. Going to get you a book. Keep that fire. Keep that spirit. 877-955-1061. Your thoughts, your name, where you're calling from, and what would Dr. Martin Luther King think about what is going on today? You're on the air. Street Soldiers. Yes, yes. They there? They're not there? They may not be there? All right. Go right ahead. You're on. Hello.
Caller.
Yes, yes. I'm calling to say about Martin Luther King.
Yes.
I'm explaining the fact that it is a wonderful thing to remember that today is Martin Luther King. John Lewis said in the politics and said on the floor to show his will to fight in the politics. And there are also times when Martin Luther King showed that there would be a day where we would feel the freedom, which we have done. We got a black man in office. We got so many things accomplished. It's so hard for us to accept the fact that there has been changes. And we have to remember that. And the more we talk about the positive things that has already been done and continues to be done by our children, by our schools, by our people of young, and by the people that know how to march like they did when they marched down Market Street, fire department, police department, all the unity that was shown even in San Francisco, the Freedom Train, all of this made a difference. And that's why when Michelle say we go high, let them go low. But always remember that we are the people who must show a different part of our life and show that our children must see Martin Luther King in them, Martin Luther King in our sisters, our brothers, our livelihood, and just remember there is everywhere we can express our wonderful gift of knowing what our dream really means. Is to stand up and be who we are.
Thank
and
you, Dan.
fight in that way by speaking like Martin Luther King spoke.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Find the king in you. Let me mention one other thing about Dr. King. You know, at the end of his life, he was at the March of the Sanitation Workers. He was about economic inequality.
Wow.
Economic inequality. And that's a big part of it. It's all about the rich and the super rich now, right? Economic inequality. So there is much to be learned from the life of Dr. Martin Luther King, his example, but be grateful. Be grateful for that man. We say the more you know, the more you owe. The more you know, find the king in you, celebrate him tomorrow, celebrate all the things that he did. And look, don't go backwards. My thing is, don't go backwards. And if you want an example of how to protest, to march, to be ever vigilant, look at Dr. Martin Luther King and those that were with him. Okay, we're going to, in the next hour, we're going to introduce you to a good friend of Dr. Martin Luther King, who's going to tell you up close and personal what he was like, what he stood for. We're going to do that and tell him where to go to.
That is right. You can go ahead and continue the conversation with us when you head on over to YouTube Live at Stay Alive and Free. And you can always take us on the go when you visit stayaliveandfree.org.
The speech which is celebrated as I Have a Dream speech was a total extemporaneous, spontaneous speech, not from any written text whatsoever. What I describe in my book is that Martin King had the ability, using computer analogy, he could speak in real time, and while he is speaking in real time, he could mentally cut and paste and insert in his extemporaneous speech the texts of things that he had either written or spoken before. And I know he did that because I could listen to him inserting things that I had written as he's speaking extemporaneously. It was the most, it was like, I've seen him speak many, many times. It was a transcendental experience. It was an out-of-body experience. I had never, ever, and by the way, never again. I know people. I wasn't at the Mason Temple in Memphis, Tennessee. He said profound things. He never spoke a speech any place, any time in his life that was like the I Have a Dream speech. It was like he came out of his body. And I think it was because of the It was the largest gathering of white and black people in America at that time. Well, it's an extraordinary thing. It's just a panoply of people. You go and look at the television things, it's unbelievable. People. It was just, and so that's how the speech came to be. If you really want a much more definitive answer, then you have to go and read the book.
Hour number two, alive and free. Street Soldiers Radio. Wonderful first hour, from our callers, our listeners, answering the question, what would Dr. King, Martin Luther King, say about what is going on today? Tomorrow is the celebration of his birthday. Oh man, Martin Luther King. You know, listening to that, listening to his words, listening to everything is just, it's overwhelming. His birthday is celebrated on the third Monday of January every year, and tomorrow is that day. We were fortunate to meet someone who is, I mean, Dr. King's inner circle is pretty much gone now, right? There are very few of them left, those who were with him in the days of the work that he did. One of those who is still with us is somebody who I met several years ago. And I remember the day it happened, and I was at a gathering of some gentlemen, actually down in Palo Alto, and they said, Dr. Marshall, Dr. Jomo, would you like to meet Dr. Clarence Jones? I said, sure. And I said, he was Martin Luther King's lawyer and speechwriter. And I said, what? And I had never heard of him. But then, you know, we talked about, yeah, he wrote the part of the I Have a Dream speech. And he was his lawyer. And I remember meeting Clarence B. Jones that day and sat in AWE, awe of him, and Lady E, awe of him. And I just had so many questions, and he had all the answers, and then I just sat and listened, and you know, it was just I just can't explain. Right? He says, "You were there?" Yes, I was there. I helped get him out of jail. I marched with him. And I just felt, you know, so we became very good friends. Very good friends. Did a lot of things together. One of the things that we did together was have him appear on this show several times. And we also had him come to speak to the young people at Alive and Free Omega Boys Club. And I can't tell you, they were like, if I was in awe, they were in, I don't know. I mean, it was like they could touch, it was like touching Dr. King.
Yeah.
But it wasn't Dr. King. Yeah. But it was Dr. King because Dr. Clarence B. Jones channels Dr. King 100%. And I just, you know, Lady E's met him, and you've met him, and he's still here. I think he's 93 or 93 now.
Wow.
He actually is the Lady E, why don't you quickly say your thoughts about Clarence B. Jones and Dr. King's lawyer? I mean, just I say that like what a privilege. And I'm gonna do something real quick.
One of the things that I'd like to say about Dr. Jones is how the impact that he had on the young people at Alive and Free. See, Dr. King, it's legendary, historic. I mean, we celebrate him every year, even though getting that to happen was a huge deal. But when Dr. Jones walked in the room and began to speak and tell stories, everybody's jaw hit the floor because in that moment, Dr. Martin Luther King was more than a story.
Mm-hmm.
He was more than history. He was a real person. And there was another real person telling stories about this man that we've heard so much about and how he became real at the hands and words of Dr. Clarence B. Jones. That was like the most amazing, powerful, when history becomes alive and real right before your eyes. And that was the impact that he had and continues to have on anybody that he sits with, anybody that he talks to. It's like, oh, you mean Dr. King is not just history? Because history, in so many cases, is just a story.
Yeah.
But Dr. Jones made that story real.
He's written a couple of books in his own right, and I don't have the titles in front of me. But one of the books is on the day of the March on Washington, and the stories of how the speech came about, and the dream. It's all in the book. It's just, you might see some of it here. It's just it's hard to express in words what it's like sitting with Clarence Jones and hearing about Martin Luther King. And it turns out he, knew Malcolm X, and he was involved in the Attica uprising, and he's got his own history. He is just the latest thing, Ann, is they have just made a short film about Clarence B. Jones, Dr. Jones, which will premiere at Sundance.
Wow.
Which will premiere in Sundance.
That's awesome.
And he has developed a very close relationship with none other than Steph Curry, the Warriors shooting guard legend. And this film is actually, I think it's being produced by Steph. And of course, we had him up at my alma mater, USF, for years. So, yeah, we can't give you Dr. King in person, but we can give you somebody that was his confidant, is that the word I'm looking for? Who, when you hear about the letter from the Birmingham jail, who was the one that smuggled the letter from the Birmingham jail out of the jail, because the only one that could visit somebody in jail is your lawyer. All these stories about Dr. Martin Luther King are part of Clarence Jones' living and breathing legacy. So we invited him onto the show, or maybe we didn't. I don't know how we did. And we had our kids. What did we do, Ann? How did we do this? How did we do
Before we do that,
Yeah.
I'm going to take us back to what Miss Estelle was talking about.
Yes.
And we're going to step into the classroom
Okay.
when Dr. Jones visited our student.
All right.
You think I just come up here one time? You have not heard the last of me. Listen. You know what I told Mr. Marshall? I'm going to tell you what I told him. I said, if he didn't exist, I would invent him and create him. That's what I told him. And you know, one of the reasons I'm here is that I'm a wordsmith. A wordsmith, I take words literally. I mean, I use words like an artist paints a canvas. The more you know, the more you owe. So I said to myself, damn, I know a lot. You know, I mean, I really know a lot I've gotten from this journey. But the other side of that, that means I owe a lot. So I'm not going to let him be in San Francisco by himself and I'm going to be down in Stanford talking. No, 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 no. We're going to do things together. Okay? Because I want your brother and your sisters and your friends and so forth. You know how I want to live a long time? I want to live a long time when I can look and see someone else sitting where you're sitting. And I can see somebody who's, I can come back in a few years. I don't know your name, but I can say, Dr. Marshall, you know that young man that was sitting here? So forth. And I said, where is he? Dr. Marshall said, oh, you know, he went on and he did this and so forth. You know? And I'll say, yeah. And I say, Dr. Marshall, you see that young lady sitting there? So forth. And you say, Dr. Marshall, where? And I say, okay. Please, don't let me spend my waning years being foolish. Please let me do something. Please give me the opportunity to take what I know and give it back to you because I owe, because that's what Martin Luther King Jr. would want me to do. Had he lived, he would have been 82 years old. He died at the age, he was killed at the age of 39. He did not have the benefit of having the longevity that I have. So I damn sure I'm not going to waste it and prostitute it without doing something. So when I leave and go out of here, I'm going to know I did something based on the more I know, the more I owe. And so I want to spend the rest of my years with Mr. Marshall. Payback. This is Clarence Jones payback time. Do I have a witness?
A special evening, a special evening at Omega Boys Club, Alive and Free
Look
Omega
at that
Boys
room.
Club.
Wow.
Oh man, was that a night? The room was filled.
Powerful.
Was that something, Lady?
Oh,
Was that something, Lady?
oh yeah. Oh yeah, with the pictures on the wall with the black fateless paper up there. Oh my goodness. That takes us back, what, 20 years?
And to hear him use the more you know, the more you owe, you know,
Mhm.
like to know that his mission and your mission and just beautiful, powerful, important work.
He said, Dr. King. I mean, but it's Dr. King. It's Dr. King. It's Dr. King. He was there. He marched. He was with him. He helped him through everything. He was his, his lawyer, right? He got him out of jail. He smuggled the letter out. He wrote the first 6 paragraphs of the I Have a Dream speech. He's got the story of, when Martin Luther King was doing the speech and he got to a certain point and he tells the backstory of Mahalia Jackson being off stage saying to Martin Luther King, "Tell him about the dream, Martin. Tell him about the dream."
It was just she was right behind him. She was up there and behind him and just talking in his ear. Tell him about the dream, Martin. Tell him about the dream. Mahalia Jackson. Oh my goodness.
And yeah, it's that when that stuff gets in you, you don't lose it. That's why, you find the king in you and you never you don't forget, you're not afraid, you see something you've seen before, you're not going backwards. And when you hear asinine statements, about, civil rights was, we shouldn't have given black people civil rights because it was bad for white people. I mean, what the hell are you talking about? No. And we're rolling back, voting back rights, and you're going backwards and this and that. No. Those of us who went through that and have met people from that and understand that we fought and died, right, for those rights. No, So yes, when I say them poor little selfish Congress people who are scared, you better get out of my, don't come talk to me. Don't come talk to me, okay? All right. I mean, no. You scared for your little job. Well, then you need some Dr. King and all of those who marched with him in you. We did answer. Then what we got next? We got when the young people got to ask him questions, right?
Yes.
They were on the show, right?
Mhm,
And they asked him questions directly, right?
Yes.
So we're going to show you some of that too. All right. Our young people talking to Clarence B. Jones, Dr. King's lawyer and speechwriter.
Please.
Now, you know that we have had you at Alive and Free.
Yes, I have been there. Yes.
The kids had a fit.
Kids had a fit. And we got new kids. And
Yes, thanks to you. Yes.
we were showing them Montgomery to Memphis, right? Last Tuesday. We did ladies, what were we doing, lady?
It was Citizen King.
Citizen King, sorry. yes.
Oh, okay.
And
Citizen King and Dr. I'm sorry. I mean, sometimes I get a word, sometimes you let me have a couple. All right. So in the documentary, Dr. Jones, Dr. King was giving his I Have a Dream speech. And so as he stood there and he said, I have a dream today in that magnificent voice. And so I had them pause and I told the kids to take a look. And you were not visible at that particular point, but I said, just on the other side of Dr. King, there is a man who has been in this room. He was right there. And so they looked at the scene and I said, he was right there. In fact, he wrote the speech. He wrote the speech. And guess what? He has been in this room. And one of the young men who was in the class was at the event at St. Ignatius. He said, you talk about Clarence Jones? I said, as a matter of fact, he has been in your classroom, the classroom where our young people meet. And you know what? You know how some kids, they sit in their chair like this? But when I say he has been in this room, he is a friend of Alive and Free. He sat up. He said, you mean Clarence Jones? I said, yes, as a matter of fact. And so for them to see that this is history, this is history. It's not because what we see on TV, whether it's in the form of documentary or however the make is, it's not considered believable. But I say he's just on the other side of that man's elbow. And he has been in this room. And you know what? The kids said, I mean, I could just feel it. Really. Now, this is more than history. This is real. And these are the young people that are on the screen now.
So what I did.
Oh, I see that smile, Ari. That's right. That's right. I would like for each of you to meet Dr. Clarence B. Jones.
Dr. Martin Luther King, personal attorney, speechwriter, personal confidant, the man who brought the letter from the Birmingham jail out of the jail. Okay. The man who wrote the first 6 paragraphs.
7.5 paragraphs.
7.5. See, I better be accurate with Dr. Jones.
And he is all of that and so much more. To be able to hear some of the stories
oh my God.
That his life, what he's lived, how he's lived, and the people that he has interacted with, the people whose lives he's touched is just amazing. So I hope you did just like you were asked to do. Can you see him? I want you to get a good look.
I can't.
Because he's reading. And he's right here with you.
I asked them, Clarence, I asked them if you could speak to Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., what question would you ask him? And each of them gave me a question and I wrote it down. I said, well, I can't bring back Dr. King, but I can bring the person closest to him, as close to him as anybody who you can ask these questions to, and ask even about his role with Dr. King. And so they gave me a number of questions. I don't see everybody that gave a question, but I see enough. And I won't be able to. So let's start with who I got here. Who I want to start with first? Let's start with, is Maya here? Maya here?
No.
Maya here? Maya not here?
Let's start with Ariana.
Let's
She
start Ariana.
was.
Okay, Ari.
We're gonna start with Ariana.
Ariana, thank you for being here with our class to talk to the one and only Dr. Clarence B. Jones. And Ari, what was your question for him? And if you don't have it, I got it, but I gave it to you. I sent it to you.
Okay, I'll try to phrase my question as best I did like before in our meeting, but it was like, did Martin Luther King Jr.'s, like, did all of his friends from the very beginning stick with him, even through all like the trials and tribulations? Like, were they by his side, or like who kind of like left him when he was at his darkest place?
So before you do that, Ari, I'm going to ask that you do this, because this is something I want you to remember for the rest of your life. You say, Dr. King, you say, Dr. Jones, my name is Ari, and my question for you is, say that, baby. Dr. Jones, my name is Ari, and my question for you is.
Okay, Dr. Jones, my name is Ariana Grice, and my question for you is, did Dr. Martin Luther King?
Okay, yes.
I heard you.
Okay.
I heard your question, ma'am. I think most of the time, I can't think of anyone who voluntarily left. When you ask me that question, I mean, you wouldn't know it, but when you asked me that question, the first thing that came to my mind were not the number of the people who left, but the number of people who were killed, number of people who lost their life, who lost their life in the struggle, or who were severely injured. And we don't have the time except to say that he was like all of us. He had fear, but different than most of us. He had something that he believed gave him a shield against fear, and a shield, and that is, I'm quoting him literally now. The love, his words, the love of my Lord Jesus Christ will protect me, and this is a paraphrase, will protect me more than anything you, Andy Young, more than anything you, Bernard Lafayette, more than anything you, C.T. Vivian, more than anything you, Clarence, more than anything you, well-meaning, will try to do for me, or Bernard, I can't think of your brother Bernard. I know you love me, and I know you want to try to protect me, but just stop all that foolishness, because you can't. Only person who can protect me is the Lord of my love, Jesus Christ. So I know you want to. I know Clarence particularly. You want to go and get on the phone and shout at Burke Marshall, Deputy Attorney General, and tell Robert Kennedy, blah blah blah. Don't forget about all that. You know, I know you want to protect me, but I have something that the federal government cannot provide.
All right now. It's Sunday.
But Clarence, my friends, I'm Jonathan. I'm gonna pull back, but I want to ask a question of Clarence. In response to this wonderful question, can you briefly tell some of the young people that when he spoke out in Riverside Church against the war in Vietnam, there were allies in the civil rights movement who turned against him? Isn't that right?
Oh, allies. I mean, I'll give you one of the best examples. These are fraternity brothers. went to a Morehouse with him, and who has subsequently become pastors himself and had their own churches. And they had previous invitations for him to come and speak. But after he spoke, and there were pressure from the Johnson administration, these are my brothers from Born, they withdrew their invitations.
Oh, wow.
They turned their back on him. They turned their back on him.
Mm.
Understand?
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Ooh.
I had a question.
Oh, we want to hear from the kid.
Yeah.
I'm gonna sorry.
No, you're right.
I'm sorry.
Oh, all right, let's go.
We have-
I'm so caught up in what they're saying. Go ahead, Mike.
No, I'm just letting you know that we
Yeah.
got 4 more minutes till we switch over to the to the Zoom.
4
or to
minutes
the
on radio.
Facebook
We'll go
Live.
straight to Facebook. We'll stay right here with that.
Yes.
Let's go to God. Who wanted to ask me? Evan, are you here? Evan, yes.
Yeah, I'm here. Hi, Mr. Clarence B. Jones. My name is Evan Michael.
Hi,
My question
Evan.
was, if would Martin Luther King Jr. still have went through what he went through if he knew if he knew his inevitable fate? Like, would he have done it again if he knew he would end up dead so young?
Oh, there was no question. There is not a question in my mind. In fact, I recommend to you, because we don't have the time, you can go online and listen and hear the speech that Martin Luther King Jr. gave at the Masonic Temple on April 3rd, 1968, the evening before he's going to be assassinated the next day. Parts of that speech are quoted in which he says, I may not get there, I may not be there when you get there, but I've been to the mountaintop and I looked over and I've seen the promised land, and I know that we as a people will get to the promised land. But that's a long, thoughtful speech that he gave. That's the last serious, thoughtful speech he gave before he was assassinated on April 3rd. Go online and listen and watch him speak on that occasion.
You know, Lady E talked about the number of speeches that he's given. And I know, and everybody knows that I have a dream to speak, but I personally, I mean, just that, I've been to the mountaintop. It's hard for me to listen to that.
Oh.
It's painful, but it's like, I'm ready.
It's prophetic.
It's perfect. That's the word. Yeah.
That's right. It's prophetic.
It's an amazing speech. I always say he was the greatest combination of a speaker and doer at the same time.
That's correct.
He spoke, but he did. And a lot of people talk and don't do. Some people do and don't speak. Dr. King could absolutely do
He
both.
walked the walk, talked the talk.
Yeah. Okay. We got what, 1 minute before
Got
we go?
1 minute.
Yeah.
1
okay.
minute, yes.
Well, I don't want to start a question and
Right.
get into it. You want to?
So yeah, thank y'all for listening to the Street Soldiers, live and free radio, with Dr. Marshall Lady.
The way we used to talk.
You still talk like
He's either real or he's crazy. He's either for real or he's crazy.
right. That's
And he was for real.
Yeah. Fearlessness that gave you courage. I wrote that down.
Yes.
I like that. I really like that. A fearlessness that gave you courage. Thank you. Thank you, Ronnie. Thank you for coming on tonight. Let's go to Jasmine.
Good evening, Dr. Jones. My name is Jasmine Keel, and I joined Alive and Free's program through the Giants because I'm a Willie Mays Scholar. And my question for you is, what do you think about the progress that was made compared to his time, your guys' time back then to today? Do you think the world would still be structured like this after all this time? And by like this, I'm speaking on how racism still exists and the acts of hate crimes against people of color.
Thank you for your question. We would not be able to look back and ask the question you just asked me had it not been for the leadership of John Lewis, Martin Luther King Jr., C.T. Vivian, Andy Young, a lot of people. Okay, we are able to enjoy much of the freedoms which we were been constitutionally guaranteed but denied for centuries, we were able to have much of the enjoyment of that because of not only Martin Luther King Jr., but unknown to me, and certainly unknown to you, but hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people that he set in motion, that he demonstrated along with, as I said, John Lewis and others, demonstrated that if you want to have your rights, you got to go out and get them, because you waited too long for somebody, quote, to give them to you. You understand? If you want your freedom, you're going to have to go and take it. Nobody's going to give it to you.
Right.
What was his famous phrase? Why we can't wait. Why we can't wait. I'm going to ask a couple of young people on here, but I'm going to combine their questions. Maya asked, what made you choose nonviolence over violence? And then Jennifer, I don't think I see Jennifer. Her question was, were there times when you wanted to be violent? What did you do to stick to what you believed and not go against that?
That is a very profound question because, as I said, I met him when I was 29 and in February 1960. And we were together until I was 37 and he was 39, 7.5 years later. And only maybe 4 to 5 years in the relationship that I began to change. When I began to say, you know what, Clarence, you may think he's crazy, and maybe he is a little crazy, but he's got something that you need to pay attention to. And that is called fearlessness. I had to believe that either he was crazy or he was generally fearless. Now, fearless doesn't mean that you aren't afraid. He was afraid, but he was fearless. And the reason he was fearless because he had something I didn't have. He had an abiding commitment. Ain't nobody can hurt him because this Lord Jesus Christ is going to take care of him. So Clarence, I know you love me. Andy, I know you love me, and I know you're trying to protect me, but don't get up, don't get on the phone trying to reach Burton Marshall and Attorney General. They can't help me. Because I'm protected by something that they cannot provide. So as I begin to, I was with him like, as I said, maybe into the 6th or 7th year. I said, that dude really believes this. He really believes this. And he turned me around. He made me believe that although I thought I was the baddest thing walking the earth and nobody did, I played football, been in the Korean War, been in the military. But not in the war, but I was in military service, trained, in fact, in special forces training. I was trained to kill a man in 90 seconds in 10, 15 different ways. And then I had to say, as bad as I am, and as courageous as I am, my courageousness came from craziness. My courageousness came from a belief that if I could be violent, I could protect myself.
Yeah.
And then he convinced me, no.
Yeah.
Greatest act of courage is to be nonviolent. And when I saw that, I said, that's the baddest dude walking the earth. Because he was fearless. Now, fearless doesn't mean you're not afraid.
Right.
There's a difference.
Wow. Ooh.
And he shamed me. He did shame me. I mean, he would say, now you're supposed, Clarence, you walking around with your Rolex watch and all your pinstripes and all this so forth. He said, that ain't gonna help you none. That racist don't give a damn about whether you wearing a pinstripe suit or a shirt. You just a black man, the educated one that he hates more than anything else.
Okay.
And you better not tell him you're my lawyer because he'll kill you first. That's the way he used to talk to me.
Mm.
Unadulterated.
Mm.
Wow.
You know?
Yeah.
But he inspired me by by first I thought he was crazy. And then secondly, I thought he was like one of these off the road evangelicals. You know, he was so believing in God he couldn't think.
Right.
And then I decided that this man, he's neither. This man is the real deal.
Hmm.
He is the real deal.
Wow. Liam?
His courage that enabled me to be courageous.
I love that phrase. I actually wrote that twice. That's a great phrase, man. I've heard. Liam.
Yeah, hello.
Right
Hello, Dr. Jones. My question, my information is I'm a 16-year-old high school student in San Francisco. That's the thing about me. My question to you is, how did he go through with it? What kept you pushing forward when there was so much hate against you?
Well, although I was raised, and I don't want to take a lot of time, I was raised from the age of 6 and 14 by Irish Catholic nuns in a boarding school and so forth. But what kept me is that first of all, I went to the Juilliard School of Music before I went to law school. So I love music, okay? And I'm a voracious reader. I mean, I could read everything. So I would go back and read about other people in history. And I would say, well, if Joan of Arc did such and such, or so-and-so did such and such, and they put the Christians into the lion's den, I'd go back and read about other people who were courageous. And I go back and read about those soldiers who volunteered to be soldiers in the Civil War. Okay. Now I said, now there are some bad dudes. You know, I'm up there, you know, walking around thinking I'm bad. No, I'm not bad. No. I began to have a distant admiration for courage that I either saw among other civil rights workers or courage that I read about. Courage that I read about, you know. I mean, I don't want to get into politics, but I was going to let you know my politics. If you read about, I know it's controversial, but if you read about the life of Che Guevara in Cuba, now that's one of the baddest. That's one of the baddest walking dudes here. You don't have to agree with Castro. You don't have to agree, but Che Guevara had to be the baddest dude walking the earth, and asthmatic. But he believed in something so deeply. And Martin Luther King Jr. was not Che Guevara, but he believed in what he believed. He believed in his Lord Jesus Christ, and he believed in the righteousness of persons. He believed in something called the irredeemable uniqueness of personhood. The irredeemable uniqueness of being a human being. Nobody should have the right to denigrate another human being's value. Every human being is so, by definition, so unique and precious. How dare somebody say you can't come here because of the color of your skin? I don't think so. You understand? Martin Luther King Jr. made me humble.
Ooh.
You understand? And you don't know. No, see, you don't know. You see a 92-year-old man, but you wouldn't want to know what a 29 31, 32-year-old man who had been in the United States infantry, trained in the special forces to be an infantry killer. You know, when I got out of the military, I figured I wasn't afraid of anything. In fact, I was provocative. I dare somebody to put a hand on me, because they'd go down in a minute. My attitude, I knew how to kill a person in 90 seconds, 15 ways to none. I dared them to touch me. And that was crazy. And also a lot, you know, drinking a lot of that vodka and Jim Beam and you know, that Tennessee, you know, bourbon.
Yeah.
That'll get to you.
Any other questions?
Alexandria?
Hi, my name is Alexandria. I am an aspiring engineer, and I had a question for you.
Yes.
I was wondering about the fact that Dr. Martin Luther King was human himself and organizing the movement. I know it took a lot of people coming together, but from what I believe is that unification of everybody must have been very difficult, especially if there were times where he didn't have all the answers.
Mm-hmm.
So how could you describe the ways he was able to unify such a large group of people when he himself didn't always have the answers?
He, I have to go back. He was a deeply religious person. Okay. And a commitment to religion that I didn't have, and I can't ever say that I ever had to the extent that he had. It's very hard for me to say it except to repeat it as I'm going to say to you, and I've said to other people. It may be hard for you to understand, particularly you dealing in quantitative information as an engineer. You know, you either Clarence Jones is not telling the truth, or Dr. King was crazy. Well, I am telling you the truth. And Dr. King, yes, he was a little crazy, but I am telling you the courage that he had came from his deep religious commitment. And by the way, are you an engineer? What is your name?
Alexandria.
Alexandria, you know, it's hard and it's beautiful for me to talk to you because you could almost be the twin likeness of one of my youngest daughter when she was younger. And I'm looking at you and I said, look, it's like my daughter's talking to me. You look almost like a twin sister.
Oh, thank you.
Anyway, I hope I was able to answer your question. And you have to deal with quantitative knowledge, quantitative information. That's the heart of engineering, you know, mathematics and quantitative information. There are no alternative facts in engineering. You know, 2 and 2 equal 4. You know what I'm saying? There's not an alternative to 2 and 2 to 4.
Yeah, and go ahead.
Well, Dr. Jones, I just wanted to share that Alexandria was able to attend the event at USF, and I remember her just being blown away by being able to see and hear you live in person, and I just thought that was.
Alexandria, you want to say something about the event? Because remember, you were there, and I talked to you for a minute afterwards. You can tell him directly what you thought about it.
So at the event, I didn't know what to expect. I thought it was going to be just a short address, but the way that it was organized to actually immerse us in how it was, what could have is relatively like a few years ago was incredible for me personally, especially when it came to, I really can't quote the entire event, but there was a part in particular where I believe it was Brian Stevenson was mentioning how his great-grandfather actually illegally learned to read. And when Juneteenth came about and the slaves were freed, they still were not able to transition into society. We all had to rejoin. And so his grandfather would sit and read just to the people on his porch just to keep them up to date about society. And it's like, it's emotional and heartbreaking, and yet it takes a lot of perseverance, I think, for the people to be able to come from such a like a horrific place to being able to join society, to now being in the forefront of society, such as like some engineers that I know. I'm very impressed overall, and yeah, that event was great for me to see. Thank you.
As a great Baptist preacher and songwriter, Reverend James Cleveland, he used to say, "Lord, I don't believe you brought me this far just to leave me."
That's right. I know that song.
You understand? I don't believe you brought me this far just to leave me.
Okay, I think there are three people who haven't had a chance to ask yet. I think Walida and Brianna and Kettering. Is that correct? And your questions are sort of summation questions. Walida, I'm gonna let you ask yours, but they're all pretty close. So go ahead, Walida.
Okay, hi, my name is Walida, and I'm in high school still, but my question was, what would he have done now? Like, with everything going on with racism and movements and like things going on, like right now in the world, like what would he would have done?
Dr. King would have, he would have looked at the new kinds of information tools and technology that we have. And he would have charged us to put those tools and techniques in the interest of securing maximum freedom for our people. All right, he would say, I mean, for example, I said to somebody, if we had had a cell phone and a laptop, we had some 250,000 people at the March on Washington. And if we had a cell phone and a laptop, you'd have had 2.5 million people there. I'm telling you. Okay. And the thing that I'm most concerned about I want you to remember that no matter how much quantitative education you may acquire, particularly in the areas that were not available earlier, and to the sciences and technology. What does it profit a person to gain the whole world if you lose your soul?
Yeah.
Okay. It does not matter. I mean, for example, Jonathan Greenberg knows I have been publicly critical of certain people in Silicon Valley. You know, that's because I want them to be better than they can be, better than they are being. And yet, having been critical of them, I have enormous admiration and respect for their journey and their commitments. And so for those, anytime I've been critical, Mark Benioff, if I've been critical of you in the past, I want you to know you're a bad dude, brother. Mark Benioff runs something called Salesforce, okay? And he doesn't need me to speak for him. But he is, now that's the technology's brother. He's not black, but he's a technology person with soul. And there are other people like that, like the person at Hewlett Packard, I can't even think of his name now. Used to be at Stanford Law School. There are lots of people whom I've been critical in the past, but whom I've been critical as well as applaud, but as I stand back and look at the journey that we've taken, is that we have to reach out to people and try to get them to hear our story. And try to get them to understand our condition. And try to get them to understand they're not free until I'm free. No matter how much wealth they may have, that wealth is temporary and transitory as long as there are people sleeping on the streets of San Francisco. You understand what I'm saying? As long as we have homelessness and gun violence, and as long as some of the mayors of some of our cities don't get a handle on what I call the black killing fields, blacks killing one another over some nonsense, gun violence. Is this what, have we come this far only to self-immolate ourselves out of foolishness? No. It sounds, you can't put it, I mean, a slide rule shows you how far I've gone. You can't put it in a calculation. But I can tell you here, if you don't learn to have the capacity to love another as much as you love yourself, we're all going to go up in ashes. The most powerful, more powerful than the march of mighty armies is an idea whose time has come. And an idea whose time has come is unconditional. Unconditional. Not I love you if, not I love you but, not I love you only. No. Unconditional love of yourself and of another human being who wants to share some of this space on earth with you. That they may have a different texture to their hair, that their skin may be a different color, that they may speak a different language. It's all irrelevant. Because relevant is that you have something so much in common. It's called the human condition of being a human being.
That's authentic, Martin.
Entitled to all of the love that you would want to receive from anyone. If you receive love, you have an obligation to give it. Don't receive love if you can't give it. You hear what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
Don't be playing around with somebody. Don't be playing around with somebody. If you don't have the capacity to love, and listen to me, not love if you're 5 foot, not love if you only lose 50 pounds, I love you. Well, yes, it's always better to have less weight. If you only have put your hair a certain way, I love you. Well, no, you have to love somebody unconditionally as a human being because that's what you want from them.
Brianna?
If you don't like the texture of my hair, that's okay. I'm not asking you to like the texture of my hair. That's irrelevant. It's not the texture of my hair, it's the quality of my soul I want you to love. You hear me?
Doc, whew, man. Let me get these last two in. They're just
and then Mike's got a question. We don't want to leave out his
unbelievable. Brianna and Kettering, let's start with you, Bree. And Um, yeah. Go ahead, honey.
Hi, Dr. Clarence Jones. I'm Brianna. I'm an artist in San Francisco.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you? That was my original question. Was how are you? But I saw recently, because Dr. King is trending right now, that he said he fears he integrated his people into a burning house. But I feel like you just answered that right now with what you were saying. But considering the state of the house now, how do you feel going forward? Do we have opportunity for the disenfranchised and the poor that he's deeply concerned about?
You ultimately, you may not see it in the immediate next moment, but ultimately, the quality of who you are, your self-worthiness, whether you wish it or not, is tied up inextricably to my self-worthiness. So if I'm hurting and you become aware that I'm hurting, you can't let me hurt indefinitely. It's not because whether I can pay you something. You can't let me hurt indefinitely, because my hurting is a reflection of the quality of the conscience that you have. My hurting is a cry for help. I may not have sufficient education to articulate it in a language that can be clearly understood. The way I talk may be a little muddled and confused, but you can see with your eyes and you can hear with your ear. You can hear my sounds. You can see me. And as the people in the street say, do you feel me? Do you feel me? Okay. Do you feel me? Huh? Do you feel me? Can you feel my pain? Can you just walk by? It may not be much. I may only have $2 in my pocket. But if I see you lying on the street, and maybe $1 didn't help, maybe I have to give, I have to feel moved to give you that $1. Not for you, but for me. Because that's a statement of the redemption of my soul.
That's what people don't understand.
Do you hear me?
That's right.
Every day I wake up, my 92nd year, I don't know how many years I have left, but I know what? Every day I have left is going to be redeeming my soul. And I can't redeem my soul unless I help somebody. You understand? It's a wasted day for me in my 92nd years if I have not helped somebody. It's a fulfilling day for me when I have helped somebody.
Symphony, let me get you in, and then I'll get Kettering.
Hi, Dr. Jones. My name is Symphony. I'm a senior at University Prep Academy in San Jose. So
Okay.
for one of my questions I had, did Dr. King ever have this gut feeling like his dream was never going to come true? Did the fear ever cross his mind that all this work would be for nothing? And then my question I had for you was like, where did you gain your sense of courage to aspire to work with him, even though you guys were like threatened every single day?
Well, let me answer the last question first. I'll try to be quick. My parents were domestic household servants. They were too poor to keep me when I got to be the age of 6, so they put me in a Catholic boarding school run by Irish nuns. And those Irish nuns, for 10.5 months a year, almost 11 months a year, they used to say to me and other boys, Master Jones, we love you. Be a good boy. Jesus loves you. And you are beautiful. Master Jones, we love you. Jesus loves you. Be a good boy. And you are beautiful. Now, guess what? From 6 to 14, until I'm 14 years old before I go to public school, I really believe that. I actually believed it. So when I get to public school, I didn't know any better. I still thought the nuns were right, Master Jones. You are beautiful, you know? So I had instilled in me at an early age a sense of self-confidence. And the confidence was expressed in unconditional love. You understand what I'm saying? Unconditional love. And I still say, I mean, I admire all these people who acquire all this new kind of technical, and I mean, I admire it. But unless you have a sense, if you don't have a sense of who you are, it becomes a limitation, sometimes almost to the level of an impediment for you to want to love someone else. Your capacity must first come to love yourself. Listen, I am shameless. I am shameless. I wake up in the morning, look in the mirror, and I say, man, Clarence Jones, for 92 years, you're one beautiful dude this morning. That's the way I start my day. That's right. I start my day. I don't need nobody else to tell me. But knowing that means I have an obligation. I have an obligation in whatever ways I can, either by teaching, by speaking. I have whatever way I want to transmit to other persons. It doesn't matter the texture of your hair. It doesn't matter the color of your skin. It doesn't matter whether your nose is this way, your lips are that. It doesn't matter. It's all irrelevant. What's inside? What's inside? What's inside you? What's inside you? Something we call soul. Who makes up the essence of who you are? Okay. You're going to let maybe some family member doesn't like you. Maybe some other person say, you ain't nothing. You know, you ain't worth, get out of my house. You ain't nothing. Get out of my sight. I don't want to see you. That's their problem. That's their problem. That ain't your problem.
That's right.
Because you go to the nearest mirror that you can find. Go to the nearest mirror when you can find. When somebody says something like that to you, you get close to that mirror and just look at yourself and say, oh my God, I am the most beautiful thing that I've seen today. Okay? I don't care what somebody else said about you. It's what you say about you.
So, yeah. Let me get Kettering. You wrap it up for us, honey.
I'm sorry. I mean, I'm getting like,
It's all
Joe
right.
Marshall says Clarence, he probably shut up.
No, Lord, it's Sunday. It's church time. Go ahead, Kettering.
Hello, Dr. Jones. My name is Ketteri Compte. I'm a college student here in San Francisco, interested in economic and social reform. And when they asked me what I could ask Martin Luther King, I was just like, I want to know advice. And I would love to know what advice he would have for the youth my age. And I know you partially answered that already.
What advice he would give to what?
What advice he would give to young people today, and also what were you guys working on right before he was assassinated? What would have been the next steps, and how could we continue to?
Well, he was assassinated in Memphis, and he was trying to get the city of Memphis to get garbage workers. There's a beautiful sign that comes. The people in Memphis started wearing a sandwich board that says, "I am a man." They wanted to be treated as a human being. Garbage workers wanted to be treated. They wanted the city of Memphis to understand they weren't like the garbage that they collected. They weren't like refuse that could be just discarded like a piece of trash. That they were somebody. That's why they wore a sign that says, "I am a man." Man meaning generically, I am a person. I'm a human being whose presence, whose personhood demands and requires your respect. But it first comes, you can't, I'm sounding like a broken record. Ketteri?
Yes, Ketteri.
You want to be loved, you first got to love yourself. Okay. And how you want others to view you should not depend upon what they think of you. It ultimately depends upon you think of you. You understand what I'm saying?
I do. May I ask you one more question?
You can ask me anything you want, subject to my brother Joe Marshall. I'm visiting in his home now.
Have you ever read All About Love by Bell Hooks? And if you have, what is your opinion on the book?
It's a magnificent book. Magnificent.
It's my favorite book I've read so far.
Good. Well, I'm going to be in next year. I'm writing my memoirs called The Last of the Lions.
All right.
And it's based on an African proverb that says, if the surviving lions don't tell their stories, the hunters will get all the credit. So I'm a surviving lion, and I want to tell my stories because I don't want the hunters to get all the credit.
We tell the young people all the time, tell your story.
We want to hear
Okay,
Mike's
Mike.
question.
Huh?
Your
You had a
question.
question,
Oh.
baby. I know you haven't forgotten.
I almost did.
I'm sorry.
No, you good. My question is about his relationship with Malcolm X, if there was one.
Oh, yes.
And sort of like what did he learn from Malcolm X, and what, like, did they have like a good relationship? Because a lot of times the history books don't they
Yeah,
try
they
to
didn't- yeah, he was pleading with me because I love football, and he wanted to be sure that I came to the Audubon Ballroom the next day. And he says, "No." I said, "Malcolm, I don't know." I said, football playoffs. He said, "No, I've been telling them about you. Nobody believes me because they don't believe that there's a well-educated Negro lawyer that hasn't lost his mind." So I said, "Well, no." I said, "No." So then I felt, anyway, I'm starting to watch football, and I heard Malcolm's voice. I said, I better go down the Audubon Ballroom. Shut Malcolm, keep Malcolm's mouth, shut him up. Next time he won't have anything to say to me. And so I'm driving up to the Audubon Ballroom, February 19th, I think it was, or whatever date it was. And as I pull up in the Audubon Ballroom, people are just rushing out.
Wow.
I had the car radio on. Newsflash, Malcolm X has just been shot.
Wow.
I mean, it was the most, what can I tell you? Man?
Can I ask you
I was
something?
with him. I was with him the night before.
Can I ask you something real quick, Dr. Jones? Because hearing you talk, you sound like you got a little bit of Malcolm in you more than Morton.
Say that again?
You sound like you got a little bit of Malcolm more so than Morton in you. So I'm just trying to figure out, like, you must have got really close with Malcolm because you were talking
Oh, I
about.
was. Please. Please. Please don't get me started.
I'm sorry.
Don't get me started, brother. Malcolm was. You know, Malcolm said to me, you know, Clarence, I know you tell Martin. I said, yeah, he knows I meet with you. He knows he knows I'm trying to help you and so forth. He says, I want you to give Martin a message. I said, well, tell me the message. No. I write it down. I said, Malcolm, you don't have to write it down. Don't have to write it down. Just tell it to me. No, I will remember it. No, Clarence, I know you have a good man, but I want you to write this down exactly the way I want to give you the message. So I said, okay, Malcolm, what do you want me to tell you? And the message essentially was, dear Dr. King, when you are speaking to presumably a mostly white audience, and you think you're getting a kind of mixed or maybe an unreceptive reaction, you should end your speech by saying, if you don't listen to me, you're going to have to deal with Malcolm X. That's what you should.
Oh, I heard him say that. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And I said, so I gave that note to Martin. Martin, he said, Martin says, I'm not going to say that. I said, well, you do in effect say that. You don't say those words.
Right.
In many ways, the way you talk, you suggest that they're going to have to deal with you.
Yeah, at some time, that's a whole nother part of Dr. Jones's life, but it's also part of the history. And they were actually working in context without knowing it, and actually were trying to come together at the end. He was trying to facilitate a meeting between Malcolm and Martin. I mean, that's why talking to him was like,
it's like,
oh, I mean, that's crazy. You just got the tip of it. Now, look, I don't know. Clarence, man, you see why I celebrate his birthday every year? I ain't playing. I'm not playing. And you know, I have a couple of pictures in my office that are treasures for me, and a couple of memories. One is I have a picture of me and Rosa Parks, which is like Rosa Parks, right?
Right.
I met Muhammad Ali when I was in college, and Clarence Jones. You know, I mean,
I was Joe, you don't have time, but you know, I was the person who was a lawyer who put the financing for the fight, the Muhammad Ali fight in Zaire together. I was a lawyer.
Right.
Wow.
The government of Zaire retained me as a lawyer. I'm sorry, the boxing commission of the government of Zaire retained. I jogged with Muhammad Ali in Zaire for 5 miles. Then after I finished jogging with him, I sat at the end of a little place in the gym, and he did 500 sit-ups.
Wow.
After we had jogged 5 miles together.
Okay. Lady E, I gotta let you do what you always do. You wrap things up. Just talk to our kids and say thank you so much for being here tonight. The question just opened a whole bunch of other questions.
Yeah.
We'll see them Tuesday, and we'll talk about all of this. But Lady E, you wrap it up.
There are moments that we absolutely treasure. And first, let me just say, Dr. Jones, what a joy and a blessing and a gift to sit with you tonight. To the young people,
A mutual gift. Thank you. I'll keep quiet.
recognize and remember how precious this moment to be able to sit, and even though we're not at the feet of wisdom, history, not only Dr. Jones, but all that he brings about Dr. King. This is a moment in time that I hope that you hold with you and remember for always. After hearing him, what more is there to be said except we appreciate you, we love you, we honor and we celebrate you, Dr. Jones, as we remember Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., his life and his legacy. Thank you.